Alright, last movie of 2015, then a top 10 list. I'll probably still review a couple movies that came out in 2015, but this is the one I was holding off the list for. The Revenant is directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, stars Tom Hardy and Leonardo DiCaprio. Takes place on, during the French and Indian War, on, the American frontier, Lewis and Clark and that kind of stuff. And this movie is breathtakingly gorgeous. It's shot with, all natural lighting. The director was all I want to use all natural lighting. And, and because of that, this movie took a year to shoot. That is an absurdly long amount of time. And, several producers left because they were sick of his crap. But I gotta say, it totally worked. Shots with, the river, going down, and the sun's in the background, you got all these snowy pine trees, and it's all framed, The movie looks amazing, and if it doesn't win the Oscars for cinematography, there's no justice in the world. This movie's also really good and intense and gritty and brutal, but it's also way too long. So that's basically my summarization of the movie. Everything I wanted to be in this movie is definitely in the movie. It's just over too long of a time. You definitely need to see it once. Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu makes these, very novel and different and filmy movies that are just, really good the first time you watch them. But this is what happened with Birdman, and this is what I'm afraid will happen with The Revenant, is upon a second viewing, I'll probably be bored. Initially, the beginning seems pretty well paced, again, on a first viewing, and I'm really cautious to say anything else because that is what happened with Birdman. Birdman, first time I saw it, I'm like, amazing, amazing, amazing. Second time I saw it, I'm like, I was kind of bored. Opening scene, it's like these Indians versus these American fur trapper guys, and you're like, whoosh, guns versus bows and arrows, we win, right? Nope. And this, the most gritty, realistic, dirty fighting ever. There are arrows going through people's throats and they're bleeding everywhere. And you'd swear this entire scene was done in, 2 takes. The camera's, it's following people around, and it never cuts away. And it's, moving 360 degrees around. It's, everywhere they set up this set. And there's people trudging through the mud, and there's people catching on fire, and there's people losing body parts. And it's amazing. It was like Saving Private Ryan with muskets and Indians. It was this guy needs to direct a World War II movie right now. That scene is superb. This movie is definitely not the intense, non-stop thrill ride action fest that the trailers make it out to be. Those scenes are in the movie, and when they're happening, they're awesome. The bear scene was a tad bit disappointing, but you can see the look on Leonardo DiCaprio's face. I see some bear cubs, which means a mama bear. Oh, shit. And it's, super intense. And DiCaprio's acting with, the look in his eyes and the gurgling in his throat because his throat is messed up and he can barely talk half the movie. And, his desperate crawling around, and his commitment to the role is amazing. He's crawling through mud. He's eating raw animal guts. He's crawling naked into a horse to stay warm. He's practically getting hypothermia, and his physical acting is so good. I bought several times. I'm like, well, we just lost Leonardo DiCaprio to hypothermia. We salute you, greatest actor who ever lived. Will he get an Oscar? I don't care. He'll definitely get nominated, but we already know how out of touch the Oscars are with the current film trends, so screw him. The fact that DiCaprio doesn't already have an Oscar just proves it. And the bear that is mauling him looks so real. It's a real bear, I could swear. Chris Stuckman was like, oh, I don't know how that scene was done. I have a theory. Leonardo DiCaprio, everybody's on break, in between shoots, and DiCaprio comes running out of the woods, and he's like, turn the camera on, turn the camera on, turn the camera on! Everyone's like, what? And a bear just comes barreling down after him, and everybody's freaking out, and they're all run, but not the director. Alejandro just picks up a camera as the bear proceeds to maul Leonardo DiCaprio to death. And he's going to show up to the Oscars in that little, life preservation tank thing. Is going to roll in, and then he'll still lose. I gotta say, though, the actual mauling from the bear was a tad bit disappointing, because as realistic as the bear looked, it seemed a bit gentle, and it's several times it leaves and then comes back, and you're like, DiCaprio, just stay still, stay still. It's not trying to kill you, it's protecting its cubs, just stop trying to fight back. And it's it could have just bit him in the throat, and that would have been done with. As gentle as a bear mauling could possibly be, but it's kind of scratching his back a little, and it's not the ferocious, that it looked like in the trailer. In this movie, Hugh Glass is just the most hardcore survivalist expert on the planet. Tom Hardy plays like one of those kind of lower IQ, kind of hot-headed guys, and I was worried his acting talents would be wasted on something that some high school jock guy could play, but it's not, because even though he is like this, like, he has the moral high ground for the beginning of the movie. It's like, yeah, he got mauled by a bear. Realistically, he's not gonna make it. Us carrying him with us is gonna slow us down. We should probably kill him. We should probably just finish him off quick. And it doesn't seem like he's being an asshole up until he tries to smother him to death. Okay, like, alright, now you're just being a douche. But even in his kind of mumbly, grumbly, simpleton voice, he has some good dialogue. And they're like, would you rather lose the furs of your life? I'm like, life? I ain't got no life. I'm like, he's got a point. See, if you remember the music in Birdman, it was very like drums, 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 like the whole time. And this one, there are some drums, but they're kind of slower, like war drums. It's not like a... It's not like jazz, like Whiplash. And that's okay, but there's a lot more just like subtle ambient like score. And that's what I love. It's like my favorite kind of music. And DiCaprio's just like slowly trudging through the snow. He's just going like... If there's no music playing, it's because I couldn't find the soundtrack on YouTube. It really gives that tone, and the snow's like falling in slow motion. There are some dream sequences in this movie, and some people found them a bit pretentious and thought they were stupid, and I'm like, I thought they were okay until people started floating, and then that was just silly. Domhnall Gleeson was actually good in this movie, in Ex Machina and in Star Wars. He sucked. I hated him as an actor, but he's definitely good in this movie. The Revenant is brutal and gritty and dirty and just realistic and intense. When it isn't being slow, it's really, really damn good, and you have to see it at least once, like I said. So I'm gonna say The Revenant is worth an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching, goodbye, and God bless.